Welcome back to the Art and Jennifer Show on this Thursday, July 18th. Our good friend Maggie Crane is in the studio with us. You may remember Maggie from her days at KMOV TV, or perhaps you've been to the restaurant named after her, Magpies in St. Charles. Maggie recently lost her mother and is joining us today to tell an amazing story about her mom, cats, and cancer. Maggie, we're so sorry about the loss of your mother, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for having me. My mom was a force here on earth, and looking forward to see what she can accomplish from heaven.
Tell us about this link between cats and cancer. And I didn't realize you were diagnosed with cancer when you were a teenager.
Correct, yeah. I had Hodgkin's when I was 17. So I am, this November 1st will actually be my 20-year cancer-free. So, my poor mother had to deal with it first with me and then herself. This cats and cancer link that you just mentioned is kind of fascinating. Her little cat, Eddie, this little rescue cat that's 17 years old, kept sniffing her right breast. And she thought, you little weirdo. And then the cat was sniffing her breath. And she thought, boy, there's something going on. And she never felt a lump, was very good about self-care. And Eddie really got her to ask more questions of her doctor. And sure enough, they found cancer hiding very deep into her breast tissue. So it was this little cat that really pushed my mom to seek additional treatment.
I'm guessing by now you've probably researched similar stories. Is that atypical, or has that happened before with cats?
So I have not found anything with cats in particular, but we do know, of course, that animals are so intuitive. I'll never forget on the evening news one night, this cat, Oscar, who lived in a nursing home. And Oscar would show up and get into the bed of a patient who was about to pass.
Maggie, I remember this story. I do remember that.
And so, you just know that animals are so intuitive. So it was so I don't know anything else. I know that a lot of times dogs have been trained or can sniff out cancers, or if somebody is about to have a seizure or something of that nature. I don't personally know of anyone with a cat, but Eddie might be the first.
Mike Roberts brought this story to our attention, and Mike, as you know, as a meteorologist who used to work on 4 and 5 and now works for the Visiting Nurse Association, and there's a really fascinating video on there. But tell us a little bit about your mom and Magpies restaurant in St. Charles.
Yeah, so my mom opened Magpies when I was just 2 years old, 35 years ago. She was the oldest single owner, most enduring owner on all of Main Street and on historic St. Charles. And I am an only child because the restaurant came along. She opened it when I was 2, and most people are thinking about having another kid. My mom had a different kind of baby. She had a restaurant. But even though I am an only child, she was a mom to many. I have heard, especially, I knew it growing up, but then also since her passing, what kind of an influence and impact what kind of influence she was and impact she had on countless people's lives. When I was growing up, it seemed like there was always somebody living with us who needed a little extra hand up. One of those people is a girl named Caroline, who is very, very much like my sister. And her 2 daughters called my mom Rhonda. My mom's name was Rhonda Crane. And so they called her Rhonda, as in like Grandma Rhonda. Such a cute name. But I think that's just a little bit, a little indicator of the type of influence she had on people's lives. And I've been hearing it, and, Facebook is full of those stories.
Tell us about the service for your mom, which is coming up on Sunday.
So my mom wanted a party. She would just be rolling her eyes if we were sitting at a wake and hushed tones talking about how she went too soon. And it's really a shame. She was so full of life. She was a connoisseur of life and living and did things to the nth degree. So before her passing, she passed from metastatic breast cancer. So that's a terminal illness upon diagnosis. So we had time to talk about some of her wishes. And she said, I want a party. So a party we shall give her. We're going to start with a memorial service at St. Peter Catholic Church, and where one of her favorite musicians, Miss Jubilee, will sing.
Yeah.
And then Funky Butt Brass Band will be leading a traditional New Orleans style second line down Main Street, complete with beads and parasols and handkerchiefs in the air, and we will parade down Main Street to Magpies, my mom's restaurant, where we will, instead of, in lieu of a wake, we'll have a party, and we'll tell stories that way.
We're talking with Maggie Crane, and although I've never met your late mother, Rhonda Crane, I do feel like I'm getting a very good picture of her.
So, as you're talking about these plans, what were you thinking? Because you're the one that has to make them happen.
I'm thinking, this is an undertaking. But my mom she was like party planner extraordinaire. So she loved New Orleans culture and cuisine. She started taking me to concerts when I was just 3 years old. I have the best taste in music of any 37-year-old you've ever met. Thank you, Mom. And it was, but she just, that was how she lived life. So when we were talking about it, I said, well, heck, lady, I'm going to just hire Funky Butt and we'll just do a second line. And I think her exact response was, tee. And she got a kick out of it. And she goes, oh, wouldn't that be a great way to start a party? And I kind of said it tongue-in-cheek at the time. And I thought, well, heck, here we go. Let's do it.
Maggie, you mentioned a lot of people come up to you on the street and say they remember you from your KMOV days. How long were you there and when did you leave?
Yeah, it's really kind of funny. I was there for only 4 years and I left in 2013, so it's been 6 years. But people say, I know you from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But it's very, very, very kind. It just, I think, shows how connected St. Louis is and how we do all look out for each other. And I have seen that since, really before too, in fairness, but it's really been amplified during my mom's illness and since her passing, of the people who just really extend heartfelt condolences.
And so a lot of people who are familiar with the restaurant at St. Charles, they want to know what's the future of the restaurant. Apparently it involves you.
Yeah, I am now a restaurant owner. It's really such an honor to carry forth my mom's legacy. This was a woman who began cooking 4-course meals when she was 6 years old. And she really embodied that phrase, love people, cook them tasty food. Mm-hmm. My mom did that on a daily basis, and she thought that, that food brought everybody together. Good food, good music, good wine would bring people together, no matter, what your background or whatnot. She lived that every day. So to be able to carry that forth is an incredible honor. But I could not possibly do it without her incredible staff. They're like family. I told them all, I said, whether you like it or not, once you work at Magpies, you're family for life. And just on May 16th, we celebrated my mom's 35th year in business at Magpies. And so many former employees from all across the country now came in to celebrate with her and to tell her what kind of an impact that she made in their lives. So it was, we count blessings where we find them, and that was certainly a huge blessing that people were able to share that with her before her passing.
And Magpies is in Old Town St. Charles?
That's right, yeah, 903 South Main Street. Yeah.
And Maggie, what are you doing now in addition to everything? You have had to plan your mom's memorial, now you have a restaurant, but you have another job now, right?
I do. I have a really wonderful full-time job working for BioSTL as their communications director. BioSTL is really a backbone organization for the entire innovation economy that's happening in St. Louis. So if you are in bioscience, plant or medical science, you know who BioSTL is. We have an investment arm called BioGenerator where we are funding the next companies that are creating cures for cancer or new crops to feed the world. It's really exciting stuff, and it's happening right here in St. Louis. So it's been a real joy to work there, and they have been an incredible support system too along my own personal journey with my mom.
Your mom must have been so proud of you. You're such an accomplished young woman.
Well, I'm proud of her.
She did good work.
It's kind of interesting. She is really a part of my identity, that I am her daughter. So that's it's a little odd to kind of lose that, but I think you always retain it though too. I'm always will forever be so proud and grateful to be Rhonda Crane's daughter.
Well, before you came on the air, we were just chatting momentarily. Jennifer and I have both been through this, and there's no handbook. It's incredibly difficult when you lose a parent, and you just kind of muddle through it day by day, and eventually the pain kind of goes away, but it doesn't happen right away. So hopefully you're taking care of yourself.
I'm trying very much so, and have the most incredible support system of family and friends who are making sure that I do just that, or trying to help me through. A friend who is an accountant saying, I can learn how to do payroll, just teach me how. Or how do I order food and liquor? But you don't know what you don't know. And so some of it has just kind of been methodical, logistical. Things need to get done. The restaurant needs to keep running, planning this big party. But I do have some incredible support systems. And I mentioned strangers who become like family. You mentioned the Visiting Nurses Association earlier. These strangers walk into your house and they leave as family members because they love and care for your loved one just as you would. And it's a very humbling thing to experience. And my mom passed on the heels of our last vacation to Florida with family and friends, checking things off of her bucket list. The Thursday before she passed on a Monday, she wanted to see the fireworks over New Smyrna Beach, Florida, where I grew up vacationing, and she did. This is a woman who truly lived life to the fullest. But in passing in Florida, we weren't with our doctors and our nurses and our support team, and you wouldn't know it. The people at Orlando Regional Medical Center took such good care of my mom and me and Mike, her partner of 16 years. We were able to be by her side through the very end. It was such a gracious moment for all of us to be there together and to have this new support system of wonderful people who just care to the nth degree. And I think you can't ask for more than that in going through this otherwise horrible experience, but again, choosing to count blessings where you find them.
So now that you've mentioned the celebratory party for your mom on the radio, are you telling listeners that if they want to come, they can?
There'll be a parade, right?
Right.
There will be a parade.
So how are you handling that part of it?
As it comes, Art. We obviously would anticipate that the folks who show up are there because they knew her or me or Mike, etc. To be there to support us. Don't tell the fire marshal. I mean, what are you gonna do? Granted, the patio's outside, thankfully, but yeah, people want to join the second line parade from the church to Main Street. More the merrier. We do have a permit for that, by the way. But yeah, it'll be a celebration of her life, and something else that I'm learning is how many lives she touched. Whether it was, again, just providing that meal and good experience at Magpies, or she threw raucous Mardi Gras parties every year with Mike in Benton Park on Mardi Gras. So while all the chaos was going on in Soulard, we had our own version of chaos going on. We had a band and beads, and she wore this purple sequin dress with pink boots, and I'm telling you, she was really a force, and really loved and lived life. And I think that that's something that I will try to carry forth in her honor, is to live life to the fullest and to try not to let things pass by.
I think you're doing that. Maggie Crane, what an honor. Thank you for sharing the story about your late mom. Rhonda Crane, and the parade is Sunday in Old Town St. Charles. The party's at Magpies. And we're sorry about your mom, but so impressed with how you are handling everything. She sounds like a fantastic woman.
Moment to moment.
Yeah. Come back anytime. We'll be thinking about
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Maggie.
This is KTRS, the Big 550.
Oh, shake it,